What's up, Dough Masters? Welcome back to episode 26 of Roll for Sourdough, the chaotic baking series where I let the dice control my loaves. And we are almost to the season 1 finale at episode 30, so that means leave the craziest, the wildest, the most delicious loaf ideas you can think of in the comments. And on episode 30, I am going to roll for one of them and make it so you can be a part of the series. But let's get into it and see what the dice have in store for us today. And we roll a 10 wild magic. So as always, this bread can get crazy later on, but let's get into the seasonings and see what kind of base this bread is going to have. And we roll a 19 for sage. This is the first time sage has been used in the bread. I love it in my stuffing on Thanksgiving. And then we have a 16 for curry powder. And I think these two can work together. They're both very earthy, powerful flavors, but hopefully they combine into something great. But let's get into the inclusions and see what we're going to add with the seasonings. And we get 5 for ramen. Again, a first time on the bread. I'm excited to see how it's going to work out. It could be crazy. And then we get marshmallows again. Marshmallows have been a staple in too many breads. It gives a huge sweet pocket in the middle. But here we go with the ramen. This is how I make my ramen. I put seasoning in with my ramen. So there we go. We're putting in the curry powder. It took me a while to get it out. It did not want to come out. Then we got the sage. And then here we go. I put the ramen in. I put the seasoning packet in. I had to open it with my mouth because I was using the camera with one hand. But here we go. And now it's boiled and we get the appropriate amount of water we need to put into the dough because we're going to use the seasoned water. So here we go. There is my starter. It is back alive. I'm excited for it. Here we go. We're going to put in about 125 to 130 grams of starter. And then we put in the seasoned water plus the other water I need. About 230 is what I go for. 220, 230. And then I got the pre-measured flour. It's about 330, give or take. And then we're going to put some more seasoning in just in case the seasoning kind of failed us there. But I wanted to make sure this is nice and flavorful. So here we go, getting it all mixed up. Work your dough a little bit more extra than you think. It doesn't need to be a shaggy dough. It can have some life to it. It probably is going to be better off at the end. And here we go as it has sat for the bulk because I didn't need to do anything yet because the inclusions are coming a little later. But we do our pre-shape and let it sit for another hour. And then it's going to be ready to get all these beautiful inclusions put in. So we get it spread out, get it into some kind of shape. I don't know what kind of shape that is. But then here we go. I got the ramen. It's been sitting all day, soaking in that flavor from the juice, from the ramen juice. And then we got the marshmallows. Like I said, it adds a sweet pocket because they just kind of melt and disappear in the bread. It is really weird. I don't recommend using marshmallows if you're making like s'mores bread. I just don't like how the texture and the pockets of sweetness. I'm just not a fan of it. But I got as much ramen, as much marshmallows as I could in there. And the dough is looking good. It smells sagey and curry. You may not be able to see it because I'm going quick, but there is a rip that I'm a little worried about, and it's right there. You can see it. Luckily, nothing bad happened. It just kind of stayed there. None of the ramen came out. And finally, we have the wild magic roll to see what's going to happen to this bread. So we roll it, and we rolled a 4 for glaze and confuse. I have to glaze the bread at the end, which is why the wild magic came at the end. So here is the finished loaf. It doesn't look bad. It smells great. I think it's going to be a great bread, but then I have to put on the glaze. It is a confectioner's sugar, vanilla milk mixture. It smells good. It's glazed. Who doesn't like a glaze? It goes great on cinnamon rolls. It's gonna go great on a savory bread, right? So here we go. The bread pieces. You can see the glaze just dropping down my bread onto my shirt.
What did he say?
But the bread looks great. You can see the ramen. You can see the yellowness of it. That was a weird bite. Don't judge me. But let's speed it up. The bread actually tastes really good. The glaze is doing the heavy lifting here. You get glaze and then curry powder. You get pockets of the ramen that gives a nice texture. It didn't get mushy. It's still very chewy ramen. It's confusing bread because you get savory stuff. But I liked it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I call it the Gooey Monk, and I hope you guys have a great day.